all here. We've got a really special Facebook Live today. Today we're giving some treats to the goats. So because it's holiday magic and we have all of our Christmas trees out there, we usually wind up with a few spare ones. And what we do with those is we use them for something we call behavioral enrichment, which is just basically a fancy word for animal toys. So today, we're gonna give 3 of our spare Christmas trees to all of our Nubian goats in the Wild Encounters area. So we'll get right to the fun part. Jen, you wanna let them on out? So just in case they weren't too thrilled about the Christmas trees themselves, the Christmas trees are covered in lots of fun treats and special things like that. So they've got some carrot ornaments, some petting zoo diet, and then Christy made some goat cookies too. Christy and Jen made some goat cookies made out of molasses and oats and all sorts of fun stuff. So you can see everybody's going to town on them. They do love these treats. This is kind of a little sometimes treat because we don't want to give them too many things that are too varying. We don't want to upset their stomach, but goats have a really, really great stomach for processing things like this. Because they eat grasses and hay and things like that that are really poor in nutrition, they've got a stomach that's really great at processing that food to get every last bit of nutrition out of that as they can. So a lot of people think that animals like goats and cows have 4 stomachs, but they really just have 1 stomach with 4 different chambers. And again, what that allows them to do is just process that food and then process it again and then process it one more time to get every last bit out that you can. This is Sharpie. Sharpie wants to know if I have any treats, but all the treats are in the trees right now. And here's Mr. Pants, that's our all-star, as you guys might know. And Cece is cruising on by, and I believe this is Dyson. Hi, buddy. He's kind of our quieter goat around here. We don't see him out too much. Greta that we just panned by, and then here's Picasso. So the goats, they really do miss you guys, and unfortunately the goat yard is still going to be closed until springtime. But while we're open during the day, you can kind of come into Wild Encounters and you can see them through the fence. And if you come here for Holiday Magic, you can still see them from the walkway too. So Holiday Magic is going to be open Wednesday through Sunday of this week, and then after Christmas, every day up until through the 31st. But we do recommend that you guys get your tickets soon because it does require a reservation, and those are going pretty quickly.
So how come one of the goats is, well, here, this one here too, is rubbing his head on the tree?
Sometimes it's for itching, sometimes it's for scent marking, sometimes it's just for fun. They do love to headbutt to play, so sometimes they try to headbutt things that we put in here too.
So are they actually eating the tree, or are they just gonna play around with it?
Well, some of the goats are eating the tree. I did see a couple of them take a few chunks out of there. Looks like we've got a couple little guys over there eating some of it. Some of them are just playing with it. Just like people, goats have their own tastes. So sometimes the goats will like one goat will like one type of food, and other goats will just say, no, that's not really for me. I'll just stick with the treats and the fun stuff.
So we don't milk any of these goats, but if we did, would the taste of would the evergreens change the taste of the milk?
You know, I don't know that. Just out of pure speculation, I would think that maybe it would. I know a lot of times farmers are very particular about what they feed their animals because it can come out and be expressed in the milk. So I can't guarantee that pine is one of those things, but I would say probably if I had to take an educated guess at it.
I don't know. It seems like it would be a pretty strong.
Yeah.
Pretty strong.
But again, I don't know for sure.
Because of the oils, maybe.
But, yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, we're just having our own little conversation over here. So how many goats are currently here?
I believe we're at 18? 24. Sorry. I was thinking wallabies. That's what I was thinking. You're 24 right now.
There's a difference between wallabies and goats.
I get my numbers mixed up sometimes. There's a lot of animals to keep track of here at the zoo. But so these guys are actually pretty good in the winter time, but we do have a heated barn that can accommodate all 24 goats. It's right over there. So if they want to go in there, they can. But again, they can come out and see you guys at Holiday Magic if they're curious and they want to say hello. Plus, we've been having some really nice weather lately, so they've been out a lot more than staying in.
Mm-hmm. So their normal diet is not pine trees. So
no.
What is it?
No, so their normal diet is mainly hay. Again, they eat a lot of it because it's very poor in nutrition. So again, they eat a ton of hay, they swallow it down, it breaks down a little bit in their gut, they bring it back up and they chew it some more, and then they bring it back down and it processes again and again and again. They do get some grain, what we call is basically a compressed alfalfa diet. It's called petting zoo diet. It's what you guys might have seen if you've ever bought any of the goat food out of the little feeders that we have here. It's that stuff. And then on occasion we'll give treats out too. So they get some vegetables and they get some other diet items. We try to mix it up a little bit so it's never too boring. Because, you know, life would get a little boring if you ate the same thing for dinner every single day of your life.
Someone asked if they eat the needles or the branches, and I just saw some of them eating branches.
They'll eat both. Woo. And then they'll even eat the bark off the bottom of the tree too.
Yeah.
So the first layer of bark, they'll eat that too. But generally they go after the easy stuff first. So if there's a lot of pine needles and small, really kind of just fresh branches for them to eat, they'll go after that first, and then maybe wait on the line if we leave these in there. They'll eat some of the bark, but it's pretty hard to get off the tree, so they don't want to put in the effort if they don't have to.
Oh, it's really smelling like Christmas in here now.
Well, they're crushing up all those pine needles and again releasing all the oil, so
yeah.
For sure, yeah.
So what other types of enrichment would they get that are not pine trees?
Well, there's all types of different enrichments. You can see we've got a little bench over there almost that we made. Oh. They can go up there, they can climb around. We give them things like that are in their environment. So we give them different items that they can walk on, hop on, play with, push around. Sometimes they get really these giant balls that we call boomer balls that they like to push around. Again, they get dietary enrichment, so sometimes in the summertime we'll freeze some of their food in big blocks of ice and they'll lick it to get the stuff out. Sometimes they get Jello without sugar in it. All sorts of different things. And again, different toys, different things to rub on. They love to rub on different types of surfaces. We had what's called a licking board out here. I don't know if we still have that. But it basically consisted of different types of metal objects that they could kind of manipulate with their mouth and lick and things like that. So spoons and items of that nature. Again, just to play around and manipulate to keep them busy, because they do love to play with each other, but they also like to look at new things and experience new things, and it kind of stimulates their mind and it really gets them thinking.
Is it true that goats will eat anything?
They'll eat a lot of things. They'll also eat things that they're not supposed to. So we do, again, even though they can eat tons of different stuff, we do have a very particular diet for them here, and we have our own nutritionist on staff to make sure that we're making the proper decisions as to what these guys are going to eat. Because again, they do eat a lot of grassy things like hay, and they eat some leafy things. But if they eat too many grains, that can actually really affect their gut and making them really uncomfortable and possibly make them really sick. But also if people feed them weird things like candy or popcorn and things like that, that can make them very sick as well. So even though they will eat it, they really shouldn't. Well, there's Mr. Pants butting in.
Yeah, he was using my leg as a scratching post just a second ago.
Yes, he loves to do that. He's kind of our big greeter in here.
So which ones are the babies that we had
So the babies that we had are about 1.5 years. So they're getting a little bit bigger now. So they're about as big as the ones we had from the year before that. So I believe Greta is over there. Yeah, Greta's right here. She's one of our conservation leader goats. Marty is right over there. And Liliana is the little brown goat way in the back that Jen is petting right now. And then Yolanda's coming straight up over here. And then Daisy is our little kind of tan goat, walking straight towards the camera. So we had 4 conservation leaders, and then Daisy, which I love the name Daisy. Oh, hi, Rembrandt.
So where are Nubian goats from?
So they're a domestic breed of goat, but they're domesticated in Africa. But you can find them throughout the world. They're all over the place. They're a very popular goat because they don't get too big. You know, Mr. Pants is probably our biggest goat, and he's about 130 pounds. But they don't really get too much bigger than that. He's kind of an outlier there.
So why do they have beards?
You know, I'm not 100% sure on that. I think part of it is scent marking with the males. They'll get it kind of nice and gross, and it maintains some of retains some of their scent. I'm not 100% sure with the girls.
I thought it was just for style.
That too, although they don't really have any brushes or mousse in here right
now. So can you remind us again what treats they had that were inside
Yeah,
trees?
So they had some of their petting zoo diet, which is, again, a kind of a compressed alfalfa grain. And they had some ornaments that our keepers Christy and Jen made. And the ornaments were made out of the petting zoo diet, kind of mushed up. But also there were oats, there was molasses. Am I missing anything else? What's that?
Apple juice.
Apple juice too. So a lot of fun stuff in there. And then they just had some chopped carrots as well. But it looks like they ran through those pretty quickly, and they're going straight back to the tree.
Yeah, they seem to really be enjoying it.
Yes, I was a little bit worried. Sometimes they like the trees, sometimes they don't. I don't know if it depends on the particular species of tree, because I know there's a few different pine trees people use. Maybe they like the ones with the softer needles. I don't know. We haven't really experimented that much with it. But they are loving this one, for sure.
So what's a fact about goats that many people don't know?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think maybe their pupils. If you look at their pupils, you can get kind of close. If you can get one of them to stand still for a minute, they've got these really weird-looking eyeballs. they're kind of like a horizontal slit, and the reason for that is, you know, goats are what we call a prey species. Mr. Pants is kind of getting right up in your face there. They're a prey species, so they want a very wide field of vision because they want to know if an animal is sneaking up on them. So with those horizontal pupils, they can see kind of almost behind themselves and in front of themselves at the same time.
Was that a goat sneeze?
That was a goat sneeze. They sneeze quite a bit. I don't know why exactly. They're not sick. We do monitor them very closely. He might have just got a pine needle up the nose or something.
So somebody asked if we milk these goats.
We don't. If you guys came to the zoo way back in the day when we had the old children's zoo, we used to do goat milking demonstrations. Those were larger goats. Those were Nubian goats. These guys are dwarf Nigerian goats. I think I might have accidentally referred to these guys as Nubian goats earlier.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, sorry. These are dwarf Nigerian goats. Nubian goats are the ones,
Yeah.
the old ones.
I do it all the time too.
Yeah. But the Nubian goats are better for milking. These guys are a little bit closer to the ground. You can milk these for sure, and a lot of people actually do. But we don't here. All right, so I hope you guys had a lot of fun kind of sharing in our Christmas fun here with all the dwarf Nigerian goats. I almost did it again. And we really hope you guys come out and see all our really neat lights and everything like that for Holiday Magic. Again, Holiday Magic runs this Wednesday through this Sunday, and then after Christmas, every day through New Year's. So we stop on the 31st. So again, thank you for coming out, thank you for watching this, and thank you guys for supporting Brookfield Zoo.